Hey guys, what's up and welcome to my second processing tutorial video. Alright, at this point hopefully you have processing up and running, and I want you to create a folder, name it whatever you want, but just an empty folder where we're going to store all of our information. Okay, so now what I want you to do is, usually people will make a hello world program. I guess we can do that, but I'm telling you, you're not going to like it. It's very boring. Literally, all it is print, in quotes, hello, and the parentheses, semicolon. Hit play, and what do you know? There it is, hello. The easiest way to print stuff on the screen. Print is a function which says you want to print something on the screen. The parentheses is the parameters, and inside, in quotes, is going to be string, which is basically characters, and inside the quotes you're going to type hello. That's what you wanted to say, and then you close the parentheses, and then there's a semicolon which ends the statement. Very simple. Now let's get to some actual fun stuff. Now there's a lot of shapes that you can draw. We're actually going to be drawing with processing. Right? It's not going to be boring syntax and programming and all that, but we want to actually draw stuff, because this is like a kind of sketching program. So let's draw something. Let's draw a circle on the screen. Now it's not circle as the function, it's actually ellipse, because you can make all kinds of shapes with a circle. You can make long circles, you can make skinny circles, you know, whatever. So you're going to have parameters. These little parentheses are the parameters, and like I said, ellipse is the function. Inside the parameters, we want to have where we want the center of the circle. So we're going to have it 50 pixels from the right, 50 pixels down. Now the next two parameters are going to be the length and width, and or height and width, whatever. It's going to be 80, and then let's just make it 80, so it's a nice circle, and then end it with a semicolon. Hit play. And there we go. We have a circle that's 50 pixels from the right and 50 pixels down, and then the up and down is 80 each. Easy enough, right? Well, now what could we do with this? Well, let's scratch this. Okay? Now in processing and in Java, there's things called voids. Now voids don't return anything. They don't return a value. We'll get into that later. But basically, you type in void, and if you wanted to return an integer, which is like a basic number, you would type int instead. But we're not returning a value, so we're typing in void, and we're going to put in setup and have open parameters, because setup doesn't take any parameters. Then we're going to use what's called this little bracket, this little curly bracket. This lets us know what we're putting inside of this function. So we're going to put the size of our canvas, and its parameters will be 480 wide by 120 in height. End it with a semicolon, and we're also going to call the smooth function. Smooth, what it basically does is it calls for all like the kind of like the curves and stuff to smooth them out for us. So we don't even have to do that, it'll do it for us. Just type smooth with open parameters and the semicolon. You always end things in a semicolon. So that's basically it for setting up. Basically what we did was we said, alright, we're going to set this up. We're going to have the size of the canvas, 480 pixels in length, 120 in height, and we want everything to be nice and smooth. So put a couple spaces, and now this is where we're going to draw stuff. So put in void, because we're not returning an actual value. Put in draw. It has open parameters, and again we're using the bracket to start what we want it to draw. Basically, processing looks at this and says, oh, we're going to draw something now. This is where the main program is. And we're going to use what's called an if-else statement. Usually in programming languages, this you won't use for like 20 tutorials in. But it's very simple. Type in if. Okay, that's saying if something happens. What we're going to do is push mouse pressed. Alright? And basically this is saying if the mouse is pressed. Simple enough, right? And in curly brackets is going to say, well, what if the mouse is pressed? What do you want me to do? in these brackets, we're going to say that we want the fill color to be 0. Now this fill color with one number is a grayscale, so it can anything from 0 is white, 255 is black, and anything in between is different shades of gray. Simple enough, right? So we want it to fill in with white. In the bracket, so that's what it is. It's saying if the mouse is pressed, we're going to fill it with white. Now what if the mouse isn't pressed? Well, we push else. That satisfies any other condition because the mouse can either be pressed or not pressed. You can't half press a mouse. So that's basically it. Use a bracket to say, well, what if the mouse isn't pressed? Well, we're going to fill it with a 255 grayscale color. Grayscale means not red, green, and blue, because then you put 3 different numbers. You just put one number. That's anywhere from white to black. So that's all we wanted to do. So basically what we said was we're going to draw something, and if the mouse is pressed, we're going to fill it with white, and if it's not pressed, we're going to fill it with black. Now what are we going to fill? Well, we just learned how to draw an ellipse, so let's draw an ellipse. So we have the ellipse. Now instead of doing a set x and y, let's have fun with it. Let's do mouse x, mouse y, then let's do 80 by 80. And then we're going to end the brackets for this. So what do? We set up something that has a 480 by 120 canvas. We're going to smooth out all the curves, and I'm going to draw an ellipse that's dedicated on the mouse X and mouse Y where we position it. And saying if the mouse is pressed, we're going to fill it with 0, which is white, and if it's not pressed, we're going to fill it with black. So let's play it and see what happens. We got this canvas, and the mouse is not pressed, so we're drawing an ellipse consistently where our mouse X and Y is, with a length and width of 80 pixels. We're just drawing across the screen. Now if we press the mouse in, it's drawing a black ellipse. So basically we are erasing, in a sense, the ellipses. Let go, and there it is. The ellipse is back. You keep pressing, do different things, and there it is. Very simple, and now we're drawing in one tutorial. Okay? So now, what if you want to make the size a little bigger? Let's say you want to do maybe a 700 by 700 square. Well, just come back, change the canvas size, press play, and now you have a 700 by 700 square canvas. And there you go. You are now drawing. Simple enough, right? Let's say you want to make these circles a little bigger. Well, just go over here. Let's say 180 by 180. Press play. And there it is. Bigger circles. It's not that hard to start drawing and processing. You did it in the first tutorial in less than 10 minutes, and now you're drawing ellipses. Now there's a total amount of other shapes and complicated things you can draw, and we'll go in that in the next tutorial, and I'll go over different shapes, everything from like triangles, circles, squares. You can draw like the little Pac-Man guy, which we may do a Pac-Man game later on, so a little spoiler alert. You could do like the I don't know what it's called, a quadrilateral or something like that, where you just pick 4 points, you can make any shape with those four lines. It's really cool what you can draw, and you can do pretty much whatever you want. Like I said, if you don't want it to be 0, let's change it to 60, and instead of black, let's change it to like 180. These are just different shades of gray, and there you go. You have a different shade of gray, and then you have another different shade of gray. It's that simple. It really is. And pretty sure if you do 255, which is red, green, blue, there you go. It's now, oops, sorry about that. It's now red when we push the mouse in. Basically what I did was, instead of doing one color, which means grayscale, I do 3 colors. This means red, blue, and green. Okay? So if I want to do blue, actually I think this is blue. I might have those switched, I don't know. Yeah, my bad. It's green. Sorry, I'm not a fan of the different color things, but this is red, green, and blue. I'm sorry about that. So you can change this to let's say 0. What's I don't even know. I'm not an expert artist or whatever, but if you mix these two colors, you may get something blue and green. Oh, is that like orange? No, that's not orange. Yeah, it's like a cyan color, right? So you can have fun with it. Like I said, I'm not big on the different colors, but I think you can make pretty much any color with those. I'm not totally sure, but if you're an artist, you know, have fun with that. All right, so have fun, do what you want. That's basically it for the first tutorial. The next tutorial we're going to do all different shapes. I'm going to tell you how to draw all the different shapes. Then after that we'll do something fun with it. Okay? So set this up, have fun with that, and I'll see you guys for the next tutorial. Alright? See you later.